Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, all of that good stuff. And as always, leave your thoughts in the comments. And in today's video, guys, I'm going through the latest transfer news. Chelsea are in the race for Viktor Gyokeres, according to Sky Germany's reporter Florian Plettenberg. The Blues are also giving serious consideration for a move for Ajax star Jorrel Hato, according to Sky Sports and other sources. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on those bits of transfer news, obviously ahead of the big game against Liverpool on Sunday afternoon at Stamford Bridge. But let's start with the Viktor Gyokeres news then, because obviously, as we know, Chelsea are looking for a striker this summer. It's an absolute priority. We've paid the price big time for not signing an alternative to Nicholas Jackson last summer or in January, and we're on the search for a striker. Strongly linked with Liam Delap, the likes of Benjamin Sesko, Hugo Ekitike are also said to be on the short list. Gyökeres has been mentioned, Osimhen gets mentioned, and those are the two strikers in the market that are available who are going to really take you to the levels that are required. If you can't get either of those, then you're shopping at the next level down, and you're looking at players that might make an impact, you know, in a year or two's time, which is not really what we're looking for right now. In terms of Gyökeres, I mean, phenomenal goal scorer record at Sporting Lisbon. He's got 64 GNA this season, 52 goals in all competitions, and he's got a verbal agreement with Sporting Lisbon that he can leave for between 60 to 70 million euros this summer, which is considerably less than a 100 million euro release clause. I'm not sure on his wages, but there's strong competition. And this update from Florian Plettenberg is saying that Andrea Berta, who's the new sporting director at Arsenal, is pushing hard to sign Gyökeres. There's been conversations, and there could well be further conversations, but the likes of Chelsea, Man United, and he says Real Madrid as well are in the race. I'm not sure why Madrid would be in the race, but maybe they're looking for a centre forward, sell Rodrigo, put Mbappe to the left and sign a centre forward. And he's too expensive for Bayern Munich, apparently. Now, it's good to hear that Chelsea are in the race, but again, we need to show our intent here. We need to do everything possible to sign Viktor Gyokeres. You know, I don't want to hear this stuff. Or Chelsea are prepared to sign experienced players. Chelsea are prepared to go above and beyond their wage structure for the right player. Guys, it is time for us to start being serious. If we don't get Gyökeres, we don't get Gyökeres. But we cannot just sit there and let someone else have a free one. We cannot sit there and not try. Chelsea got a good relationship with Sporting Lisbon. You know, we've done deals for Asugu, we've done deals for Quenda in March, very recently. And that relationship could well help us in our quest to sign Gyökeres. It surely gives us some sort of advantage, potentially. But again, we're going to have to be able to offering Champions League football at a bare minimum. It's in our hands. Brentford done us a massive favour. We are fifth out right now on goal difference. But the last 4 games are going to tell really whether we can get to the table for the conversation with Gyökeres. But it's great to hear that we are in the race. It's great to hear that he's potentially a target. But right now, I do just feel this is kind of more chat and conversation than anything sort of concrete. Now, admittedly, Chelsea could be working in silence. We know that occasionally we do work in silence and deals just appear out of nowhere. But I feel like a deal for Gyökeres would be a huge deal and would be one that's pretty tough to keep under wraps until it's virtually done. But you just never know. But yes, Chelsea reportedly are in the race for Gyökeres. But let's wait and see how this one pans out. Ideally, I think Chelsea want a striker in before the Club World Cup. It could be difficult to do. It could be difficult to get Gyökeres. But the fees are affordable. The wages, I don't think, would be astronomical. And he is a standout striker on the market that we must do whatever it takes to try and get his signature. If you're going to drop that chat, allow that information to come out into the media, you can't then just go and be targeting 19 and 20-year-olds and unproven players. You've got to back what's being said. You've got to back what you've allowed into the media and show that you are serious. It's as simple as that. And, you know, Gyökeres would be a real statement of intent. So let's wait and see what we can do. You know, striker that can do everything, score all types of goals, good in the air, physical, box presence, good runner. Just ticks all the boxes. Yes, he's going to be 27 come next season, but, you know, forget about resale value. What about the value of having someone to come in now, score a load of goals, win you trophies, and then you reevaluate in 3-4 years' time? What is wrong with that? I ask you that very simple question. So we're going to find out whether Chelsea are a serious football club or not this summer by the calibre of players we sign, by the calibre of players we try and go for. So yeah, that is the latest on Viktor Gyokeres. In terms of defensive reinforcements. We had news last night from Sky and other sources that Chelsea are giving serious consideration to signing Ajax star Jorrel Hato. Now, the 19-year-old is on course to win the Dutch title with Ajax this season. He's a left-back who can play at centre-back, so very much sort of that left-back hybrid role, left-back centre-half. Very similar, really, to Renato Vega in terms of the positions that he can play. Now, a move for Hato would certainly make sense if Vega's going to leave. Now, Chelsea believes have set their asking price for Vega at around £30 million. I would imagine that Vega probably will be sold this summer, and Hato, who is a left-back predominantly, but can play at centre-back, as I said, would tick the boxes they're looking for. Fits the recruitment model, fits the age, fits the profile. But with him just being 19, he has actually played over 100 games for Ajax, and you don't play over 100 games for Ajax at that age if you haven't got talent, ability, and you haven't at least got something about you. Now, we need a natural left back in the squad. We don't have one other than Marc Gyökeres. And I think a move for Hato wouldn't be awful. I think Chelsea, Liverpool and Arsenal are interested as well. And Chelsea's interest in the Dutchman is long-standing. It dates back to before this summer. And I've seen some reports from Holland saying it could be available for around 50 million euros, so that kind of 45 million pound mark, which is not bad for a player with a number of games under his belt already, and a player who has got, you know, considerable upside, who's got that resale value, which to me doesn't matter, but obviously to Chelsea's ownership it does. And there is considerable potential and room for improvement. And most importantly, we are desperate for an alternative to Marc Gyökeres, because if he gets injured, we are finished. Looking at playing a Malo Gusto or Reece James at left back, which is really not ideal. And the fact that he can play centre back as well means that if you invert from the right hand side, it'll be nice and comfortable in that left centre back role. So it kind of, you know, ticks a lot of boxes for Chelsea, but there is strong interest from other clubs. And again, would he come if we don't have Champions League football? These are the big questions that we don't really have the answers to now. But, you know, my main worry is that the level of player, the kind of players are being linked to, are not necessarily needle movers, not necessarily taking us to the level that we need. You talk about needing experience. Maresca himself saying that we could benefit from signing more experienced players, and you see the links. Hato, 19, Huijsen, 20, Delap, 22. Huijsen and Delap with one season in the Premier League each under their belts. Hato, okay, more experienced, younger, but has played more senior games, I would imagine. It doesn't fill you with the most confidence, and this is why I don't believe any of this information that's coming out until I actually see the action in front of my eyes and I see the experienced players through the door and holding up that Chelsea shirt, because until that point in time, all it is just chat and nothing else. If you don't back up your words with actions, then it means absolutely nothing. So yes, you know, it's great to be linked with names in the race with certain players, but the proof will be in the pudding, guys. The proof will be, do we go for these players? Do we try and get them? And are we actually able to sign any of them? I've not got an issue with missing out on players if we actually try and we tried our best to get them. But if we just let someone else have a free pass, don't even bother trying, that for me is where I'm out. And that for me is where I'm thinking, that's just unacceptable. And it's not how serious football clubs act. Even if you think you've not got a huge chance, you still go for it. You give them a decision to make. You ask the question. You don't just sit back, put your feet up and watch someone else have a free run to signing top players. You don't do that. That's not how serious clubs operate. We used to operate as a serious club, a ruthless club in the transfer market. Now, we're not so much doing that. We need to get back to those old ruthless days in the market where we didn't take no for an answer and we kept going until we got the player that we wanted. It very much feels like that's not the case now, and we are in a pivotal summer for this project. If we're serious this summer, sign the right players and fill the positions we need to with the required quality, then we can challenge for major trophies over the coming years. If we don't, and we bring in more project players and don't get the required quality, then we are kind of accepting that we're just going to be a club who challenges for the top 5 each year and might pick up the odd cup here and there. We'd be setting out our stall to say, we're not a serious club anymore. We'll compete, we'll try and qualify for Champions League, and we'll see if we can pick up a few trophies here and there. This is arguably the single most important transfer window under this new ownership, and we cannot afford to get it wrong. Diabolical January window, diabolical window last summer. We cannot afford to have a third consecutive window that is absolutely disgraceful. So please, guys, for once, the manager's starting to say it now. Everyone's saying it. Everyone knows it. apart from seemingly the powers that be. Please, guys, just do the right thing this summer. Get the experienced players in, get the quality in, address that leadership problem, address the goal scoring problem, get a commanding centre back in to lead the back line, and then we can start to talk about this club moving forwards. But forgive me if I'm sounding a bit negative here. I just don't have that optimism because the evidence is simply not there. But yeah, guys, that's just my thoughts. Make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, all of that good stuff. Up the Chelsea, and I'm out. Peace.